What's up? This is Cedric Bradley. Welcome to my channel Backstage. We're about to get into Black's video switch, but before we do that, I'm gonna give you a chance to hit that subscribe button before we drop into this. Let's go.
Music, fashion, inspiration, creativity, elevating your dreams to a lifestyle and beyond just an activity.
So we're back. We're about to get into Switch from Black. Before we do that, I'm going to drop you a little information because this was a request. This video was requested by Felix. So Felix, this one goes out to you. This was a very interesting artist for me because I'd actually never heard of Black. I know that Atlanta has some of the most amazing artists, but hooking up to this track, I had to like backtrack and check out a lot of his material. Very inspiring and creative artist. He's from Atlanta, born in Baltimore. Very well-known battle rapper. Singer, rapper, producer. Yeah, but it was very interesting because when I looked it up the first time, I was looking up Black and I realized that there was something different about the name. So that was at 6. I know I did a lot of research and people, try to pronounce it Black or 6 Black or Black or that's crazy. But yeah, it's Black. So point clear. Ricardo Valdez Valentine Jr. Stage name Black. 6 L-A-C-K, Black. 6 stands for the area that he lived in or the district that he grew up in. And a 6 was always a reoccurring number in his life. So he kind of sort of took that on, replacing the B with the 6, which I thought was very clever. And he's very heavy into numerology. So that was very cool thing to see. Very laid back, very chilled, very, I would say introverted, but he's just very much an artist. He's very much into his work. Yeah, Black got his start, his first recording he did at 4 years old in his father's studio. So he has been, working on it for a long time. I mean, he was well known as a battle rapper, which tells you point blank, this man has got some serious skills. And he signed his record deal quite early and quite quick, which didn't actually turn out so well. He ended up getting out of the deal with the help of some lawyers. I think they just pushed the contract to them and he just wanted the opportunity. So he signed and that didn't turn out quite the way he wanted it to because, he really wanted to follow his art. He was developing his own sound. He was very particular about not promoting. He didn't promote in the beginning. He didn't do interviews until the third album, which was his album. He didn't do any interviews. He didn't do any press. He didn't want to talk. After getting out of that deal, he really was focused on hammering out a sound because they really kind of sort of fixed him on like, this is a sound right now. This is what you need to do. This is what's popping. And he was like, oh man, there's a whole nother flavor going on. And he was very particular about not following the trends. Yeah, he signed to Love Renaissance and Interscope Records. Atlanta is just in itself, the music scene it's always has been on point, on game. ATL is just huge. The chorus, switch, tell me how it feels to be somebody else. We don't always want to do that until it is simply good. It's not when the tables are turned and it's not working out. We don't care about it. So that's the really tricky part. It's very interesting when they play that the first time, he's getting his dreads cut off. So, it's like they say when you cut your hair, you're making a transition, time for change. And I don't know if that was at the point when he was with his record company before he decided he wanted to follow his own, go with his feeling of what he wanted to create and produce as an artist, which worked. Because they brought him an MTV Music Award and nominated for a Grammy 3 times. So, stick to it. The video starts and it's like a flashback of his life. Him on stage, him being a father, him in a relationship. That all then kind of sort of evens out to be like the B-roll of the video later, which is very interesting to see. But the main clip is that crash. You just see him like lying on the floor and just being kind of like this feeling of being in a zoo. He's just there. No one's really asking questions. He's just being photographed and, by the press, and then him just singing. And it's such an interesting clip because that leaves you with the feeling of what happened? How does it go on? You know, how does this resolve itself in a video? But it never does. And that's a very clever clip about a director when you can find that element that keeps the audience engaged. And I love that, that is the main focus of the video. You know, I think when you get to that point professionally, when you cross a road, when you've reached a certain amount of success, it's a very thin line between truth and make-believe. Because you know, people look into the world of like fame as like Fantasy Island. It's like some strange place everyone wants to be, but not really sure that they want to be there. When they get there, they can't really handle it. So that's why you see in this business that people fall off. And I've been doing this for over 35 years, working in stage, you know, film, television, commercials. And I've come across that stage a lot in my life. In relationships, either be it love or family members or people, they see that as a pedestal. And it's not something that you always want to be on yourself, but it's a perception that people have that it's such a great place to be. And then you find yourself torn between understanding of reality and truth. It can destroy relationships. It can destroy, you know, it can destroy you in a sense, which is what he's saying. You know, take my place. You can see things from my perspective, and I can see things from yours. Theater and showbiz, it's the biggest temporary job out there. So it's not one of those things where you're constantly fighting to survive. And I would say survive to always move forward. He's like, if you see things from my perspective, what would you do? Would you understand me then? I watched an article on him about his life and being his main joys, you know, when he's not working, not being productive, not producing, not writing, is just simply being a father. And if it's not that, it's just literally either sleeping or just trying to catch up on some personal time. Finding balance. How do you find balance in fame? That's a really tricky topic, especially when you have to separate the spotlight from reality. A lot of people can't find a balance between that being in the spotlight and coming back to yourself, being grounded, being centered, being happy, being content. That space is a very difficult space to find. And that's the interesting fact that I see when I listen to this, or watching the words in the song, regardless of how often you try to paint that in the right reality, people think that it's a choice. Being an artist is a choice. Art and fame are not tied together. You see this woman in the car. I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend. I'm not really sure if they are together, because I know from the cover of the LP, from the album, the picture of him and his daughter in the kitchen was taken before they were supposed to do the photo shoot for that actual album. And that was on Father's Day, and that picture actually ended up being the cover of the CD, of the LP, which I thought was quite amazing, because, you know, that is his absolute joy. When he's not creating or on stage or in the studio producing, he just loves, you know, being a father and his daughter. And I can so understand that coming back to reality after all that intense work, because producing and coming up with art or your music or a song that's going to be, once it's out there, the art is there. It's always subject to judgment or opinion and taste, and, you know, it's his expression, and it's such a interesting touch to watch the video, to see his interpretation of me looking at you. Now we reverse it with you looking at me, not for what you think you see. So that's, I think, a crucial point that I get from the video. I'm not really sure the intention of the director or what they were actually going for, but I really do feel like he was trying to express the highs and lows of fame, of success, of money, and other people's perception of what success brings, because it is not always a joyride. So let me know what you think about the video, about the track, if you listen to the album. Leave me a comment down in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. I'm watching you. I know you're trying to skip out on me. And we'll be back with another track sooner than you can think. Blink!